Wisteria. Energy. Twister. Hello everyone, welcome back. Wisteria here to Haunted Places of Yorkshire. Let's go to Halifax now. Formerly used as a visitor's centre for Webster Brewery, Long Can was converted in 1987 from a row of cottages designed by the yeoman clothier James Murgatroyd in the mid-17th century. Some years ago, having heard about ghostly goings-on there, I made an inquiry to the brewery's head office and was put in touch with Miss Sarah Thornton, the then catering manageress, who turned out to be one of several witnesses to the occurrences. Miss Thornton had heard footsteps walk around the function room during bank holidays when she knew she was the only person in the building. In fact, she'd been so spooked by this that she insisted on a security guard accompanying her on her rounds. Further inquiries revealed that the bar manager often felt that he was not alone in the bar area and cellar. There were no footsteps or voices or bumps or bangs, just the unnerving sense that someone was standing close when there was no one there, or the sudden draft that we sometimes experience when someone has dashed past us. The cleaners were among the others who spoke of that distinct feeling that there was a presence in the bar area, the toilets and the museum part of the building, where a number of artefacts found in the row of cottages prior to the renovation were displayed. The catering manageress herself had the scary experience of seeing, quite clearly, an elderly woman in grey who, bizarrely, seemed to fall and vanish through the floorboards of the museum, just as Miss Thornton spun round to confront her. Whatever did Mr. Derek Rhodes capture on video in 1973, filming his niece's wedding from the gallery above the aisle at South Orham Wesleyan Methodist Chapel near Halifax. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. However, on playing back the video at a later date, he saw a lady dressed in black mingling amongst the well-wishers. He made inquiries of the church steward, Mr. Arthur Coates, but it seemed there was no one to account for the woman on the video. She was not a guest at the wedding, and nobody who was later questioned could even recall seeing her or anything else unusual at that time. If she had been visible during the wedding, she would certainly have been the subject of speculation, for she stood out like a sore thumb, dressed in black from head to toe, with her face covered by a black veil. Her attire was more suited to a funeral than a wedding. In addition, the woman appeared to be speaking, and as she did so, she faded away in full view on film. But who was she exactly? I don't think we'll get an answer for that, I'm afraid, but we can speculate. Now we are heading to Huddersfield. Although there was the promoter for Huddersfield nightclub, Ivanhoe's, Derek Parkin, preferred to avoid the premises, he said. I don't believe in ghosts, but then I don't want to meet the ghost and be proved wrong. The first he knew about the resident spook was when two bouncers heard footsteps coming from the balcony and then went to look and found nothing. They heard the footsteps a second time and investigated, but again, no results. After a third time, they called the police, who attended with a dog that refused to go anywhere near the balcony. The subsequent search revealed nothing to account for the footsteps. Later, Derek Parkin and the nightclub's owner, Paul Davis, heard the footsteps themselves when they were together on the ground floor. But they too could find nothing. They contacted the previous owner, Ken Sewell, and he confirmed that the phantom footsteps had also been reported when he was working there. The building began life as a grand picture theatre, which opened on the 14th of March 1921, finally closed its doors under the name of the Grand Cinema in the summer of 1957. Since then, it has had several different users, including a spell as a bingo hall and a disco. One former male employee claimed that women never heard the footsteps, but a one-time cleaner, Madeline Dannett, said that she and the cellarman had both been aware of footsteps. Also the sound of breaking glass, but they found nothing to account for that either. She had also heard double doors swinging closed by themselves. Theories abound, of course, and both a former projectionist and a customer of the bingo hall have been suggested as being responsible for the sounds. But whoever it is, they seem to limit themselves to pacing up and down the balcony area where there used to be an office. Although she could find nothing in the history of the building that seemed to relate to a particular haunting, Mrs. Dannett did hear about the ghost of St. Thomas's churchyard on the very same street, which kept people away from the spot after dark in the 1920s, though a connection between the two seems rather unlikely. And yes, that's Huddersfield nightclub. But upon saying that, there is a suggestion that there was a projectionist who worked at the theatre and that he took his own life, and it could possibly be his ghost. But there's no records to indicate that it could be. That's the problem. Sometimes we have records on these things and we look and you can find that they are clearly there and stated through history. But on that occasion, no, there is definitely no records. And now we go to Ilkley. The Mallard Inn on Church Street dates back to 1708 and is haunted by two female phantoms. In September 1999, Chris Bridge, the manager, reported that one ghost had been seen upstairs, while the other was said to frequent the bar area itself. Although descriptions were vague, staff all agreed on a sensation of being watched and not feeling alone in otherwise what seemed to be completely empty rooms. The building itself was a jailhouse in the late 17th and early 18th century, and cells still exist in the lower part of the pub. The theory is that the ghost in the bar is someone trying to locate a place of imprisonment. In addition, other strange happenings at the Mallard have been noted from time to time. Wine glasses have been found placed on the floor in a triangular formation, and the hand dryer in the men's toilets keeps switching on all by itself. Interesting stories. Definitely. I mean, you sort of can imagine that if it used to be a jailhouse, that there may resonate some energy there, if nothing else. So, I guess it's understandable. That's the next part of Haunted Places of Yorkshire. And when we come back, we shall continue with Keighley, which is a place I am not sure of, but I do believe it's located near Hull or something like that. But we'll find out next time. Thanks for listening and many blessings. Wisteria, energy, twister.